Good morning, fellow veterans, elected officials, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Never Forget Garden Dedication Ceremony. I am retired Sergeant First Class Larry Williams, and I serve as the Veterans Outreach Program Director at the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs. Although we are not in the Louisiana Veterans Memorial Park as we had planned, we are still honored to dedicate the Never Forget Garden. At this time, I would like to recognize all elected officials who have joined us today. If you could please stand. If you are able to, I ask you to please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the posting of the colors. Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, we come humbly in your sight, asking for your mercy. We ask that you bless us during this ceremony as we honor our nation's heroes. These blessings and all other blessings we pray for in your name, giving you the praise, for you are worthy. Amen. Post the colors.
Go. Raspberry. What? Forward.
Hey, is Mac back there? Mac, can you come up real quick? As veterans, we learn to adjust, so no big deal. We on it. Hey, that was the Liberty Magnet High School JRTC. They always do an excellent job. At this time, I would like to ask Grace and Molly Tyler of the Ann Fairfax Society of the Children of American Revolution to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Grace and Molly. I would now like to ask Terrius Johnson to sing our national anthem.
dawn's early light, what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Daytarius. You all might be seated. It is truly my honor to introduce you to our state's biggest supporter of veterans. Joy Strickland was appointed Secretary of the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs by Governor John Bell Edwards on January 13, 2016. In this position, he is responsible for overseeing 5 veteran homes, 5 veteran cemeteries, 74 benefits and claims offices, 25 college and university campus veteran centers, the Military Family Assistance Fund, the Louisiana Veterans Honor Medal Program, and a myriad of outreach initiatives serving veteran service organizations, including homelessness prevention, women veterans, and incarcerated veterans programs. His responsibilities include advocating on behalf of Louisiana's more than 288,000 veterans and their families to the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. Secretary Strickland is no stranger to Veterans Affairs, having served under 5 Louisiana governors. He is currently the longest serving state Veterans Affairs Secretary in the nation and has served in this position in both Louisiana and Arizona. Secretary Strickland is married to Layla Strickland. They are both proud parents of 3 sons, all Army soldiers, twin daughters, one who is an educator, and one who followed her father's footsteps and serves in the Louisiana Army National Guard. Please join me in welcoming Department of Veterans Affairs Secretary Joy Strickland.
Thank you, Larry. Governor and First Lady, it's so good to see you again. I know you've been busy traveling and it's been a while. Elected officials, it's good to see everyone here, and thank you. Veterans Day is a moment of celebration and a little bit of sadness. We rejoice in our freedom and prosperity that our veterans have made possible for us. As we pay tribute to these heroes, we are reminded that freedom is never free. It is a gift purchased by many at a great cost. Louisiana historian, and by the way, he was a friend of mine, Stephen Ambrose, has written about America's citizen soldiers of World War II, saying, and I quote, "They knew the difference between right and wrong, and said that they were unwilling to live in a world where wrong triumphed, and so they fought and they won, and all succeeding generations are the eternal beneficiaries of their sacrifice," unquote. Today, we honor all veterans, and we thank them for their sacrifice and dedication. We thank their families who also sacrifice while their veteran is serving. From serving on distant battlefields to plucking people off of rooftops during hurricanes and floods, our veterans continue to give. They ask nothing for themselves, only to be remembered and appreciated. The staff at the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs do that daily with a myriad of benefit programs to make their lives a bit better. For us in the Department of Veterans Affairs, every day is Veterans Day, and every day is Memorial Day. Thank you. To me, and I'm sure to our governor and many others, serving in the armed forces of the United States has always been a noble calling. Since the shots at Lexington and Concord were fired and our Revolutionary War began, the American soldier has fought, bled, and died on the battlefields here and abroad to defend our rights and freedom. On the bloody battlefields of the Civil War, some of it which took place right here in Baton Rouge, the American soldier fought to save the Union and promote human dignity. From the trenches of Europe during the Great War, the American soldier fought to preserve democracy in a war that we hoped would end all wars. But a generation later, unfortunately, the American soldier was again sent by our country to end the spread of worldwide tyranny. World War II saw our soldiers fight on the battlefields of Europe and Asia to successfully destroy tyrants and preserve liberty for ourselves and our allies. Again, during the conflicts in Korea and Vietnam, the American soldier once again shed blood and died in many cases to end the threat of communism and to preserve freedom. Then there are the Gulf War and the war on global terrorism, which still find us fighting today and serving against a dedicated enemy bent on the destruction of world democracy. With the sacrifices in Iraq and Afghanistan, the youth of this great nation continue to serve for a cause larger than themselves. I love my department, the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs. Over half of my staff are veterans. Many of them are retired military who continue to serve. And those that are not veteran are what I call veterans at heart. They love veterans, and they love what they do. These young men and women are part of an unending line of proud citizens who answered our nation's call to duty. It is the service of the soldiers around the world, especially in combat zones, that mark their sacrifice. Our nation is free because of our brave veterans. As was mentioned, 4 of my children are veterans. My daughter is a full-time National Guard soldier. She's on duty today. And my son-in-law just got back from his second tour in Iraq. Serving our nation and our veterans community is not only a family affair for the Stricklands, but serving our veterans and working in your administration, Governor, is an honor. Thank you, sir, for bringing me back to Veterans Affairs, something that I love doing. And God bless America.
Thank you, Colonel, for your service and leadership. Our next speaker is Representative Mike Johnson. Representative Johnson represents Louisiana's 27th District in the House of Representatives. In the legislature, he is the Vice Chair of the Civil Law and Procedure Committee, as well as a member of the Insurance, Judiciary, and House and Governmental Affairs Committees. He is a member of the Louisiana Bar Association and has served in multiple roles in state government aside for his current elected position or office. Additionally, Representative Johnson is involved in a multitude of civic and community organizations, including the Rapides Children's Advocacy Center, CASA, and the Rotary Club of Alexandria. Please join me in welcoming Representative Mike Johnson.
Mr. Governor, First Lady, Secretary Strickland, our veterans, our elected officials, our honored guests. Veterans Day this year is a very special day. It will commemorate the centennial of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. 100 years ago, 4 soldiers were exhumed from the cemeteries in France where they had been buried. Their caskets were brought to a town hall in Châlons-Champagne, where one lone soldier was handed a bouquet of white roses and ordered to place it on one of the 4 caskets, thereby designating the soldier who would forever be honored as America's unknown soldier. At the conclusion of the ceremonies, a great procession of American and French military and civilians, including French children, bearing white rose bouquets, escorted the casket to the waiting ship, the USS Olympia. The 11-day journey proved to be one very treacherous, including colliding with a waning Category 4 hurricane that nearly doomed the ship and the precious cargo. This is the part that brings even more pride to me and to you. The young Marine who was assigned with this 38-man company to escort the ship to France and back was Lieutenant Colonel Graves Blanchard Erskine. He was born and raised in Columbia, Louisiana. After graduating high school at the top of his class at age 15 and graduating from LSU at 17, he joined the Marine Corps and saw his first duty in the field of France in World War I. He went on to serve in World War II, commanding the 3rd Marine Division at Iwo Jima and Guam, and in other battlefronts. His illustrious career earned him the rank of 4-star general before he retired from active duty. Therefore, today, November 21st, 2021, we not only honor our veterans, but we have cause to celebrate one of our own, Louisiana hometown heroes. The much awarded General Graves Blanchard Erskine, not only for his distinguished service as one of America's finest, but also as his role for bringing America's unknown soldier home to his final resting place at Arlington National Cemetery. We stand today in honor of him. We stand in honor today for Louisiana and present a national and Louisiana salute to all veterans on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. May God bless all those who have served, who are serving, and their families. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you, Representative Johnson. I would now like to introduce everyone to Marilyn Wellen. Ms. Wellen is a 38-year member of the American Rose Society, 30 years of which have been served in leadership positions, including serving as national president. In 2019, the American Rose Society president appointed Ms. Wellen to represent the organization to work with the Society of the Honor Guard, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and planning for the commemoration of the centennial of the Unknown Soldier. In that capacity, she has worked with chapters of the Daughters of the American Revolution, former Tomb Guards, and American Rose Society and Garden Club members across the country in the creation of Never Forget Gardens. Please welcome Ms. Marilyn Wellen.
Governor Edwards, First Lady Edwards. So glad you could be here on this very special day to so many of us. I am following my own representative from Central Louisiana. I'm from Alexandria, and I need to scratch about half of what I wanted to tell you about, but it is a beautiful message that we bring to you. The message of Veterans Day and of America's unknown soldier is a message of love, respect, and devotion by a grateful nation. It is also a story of America's military and their love for the people of America and their brothers in arms. Today is Veterans Day, the day we stop to honor all veterans, which is happening in ceremonies across the land. And I think the nation needs this holiday. The commemoration always falls on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And that was the month and the day and the hour that the armistice was signed to end the Great War, the war to end all wars in 1918. And 3 years later, on this day and hour in 1921, the unknown soldier was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery in the newly created Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, our most sacred monument. The story of the unknown soldier needed to be a part of this Veterans Day. Back in June, the day right after Memorial Day, Representative Mike Johnson brought to the Louisiana House and Senate a resolution that asked that our state recognize this year's Veterans Day also as the year of the centennial of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It was the greatest privilege, one of the greatest privileges of my life, to have been assigned to work with that national organization, a nonprofit organization, and every member is a tomb guard, a former tomb guard. And they are so totally devoted to their mission, which is to continue to honor the unknown soldier and to support the area of the unknown soldier and the tomb at Arlington National Cemetery. In doing so, we learned so much, but the main emphasis that I wanted to bring to my little role in this great plan was to honor the unknown soldier in Louisiana, and Mike Johnson got that process started. From that process, we needed a Never Forget garden in Louisiana. And the site that we would have been in but for the rain, Louisiana's Veterans Memorial Park, which is such a beautiful site. One of our members of our team, Mary Hazen, contacted the Veterans Administration and had a site visit there. And we were assured that probably we'd find a site that we could create a Never Forget garden so that our state was celebrating this centennial in this way. I thought a little corner somewhere would be really, really nice. And that was not the way it turned out. The most beautiful site is the beautiful garden right in front of the Arsenal Museum, and that is the new site that is now the Never Forget Garden at Veterans Memorial Park. And so I think the state of Louisiana owns a piece of the history of the unknown soldier by this. Yes. We think one of the outstanding accomplishments of Graves Erskine, both in World War I and later in World War II, he was a hero in his work in the Pacific and quite honored by medals recognizing his achievements. But we think the greatest assignment that came to him was the order that sent him aboard the USS Olympia to sail for France and bring the unknown soldier home. The Marines, of which he was a Marine, understood the importance of this unknown soldier's remains to mothers, wives, fathers, brothers, sons, daughters, sisters, and dear friends who suffered the loss of a loved one who did not return from over there. For many Americans, there would never be a marked grave to visit. For many, the nameless soldier could be their loved one. So the creation of Never Forget Gardens has become an idea that represents the tomb. For all those of us who cannot be there today, our Never Forget Garden is the place we can go to remember a loved one and to remember our veterans and all who have served. This year, General Erskine is being honored today as Louisiana's hometown hero by that joint resolution and by our being here. And the unknown soldier is interred in America's most sacred shrine, and we think that is in part to Louisiana's own General Erskine's heroism at sea. But the general is being honored not only in Baton Rouge, Louisiana today, he is being honored at Arlington National Cemetery, where as we speak, former centuries of the tomb of the unknown soldier are laying white roses at his headstone. So finally, the newest jewel in the city of Baton Rouge and maybe in the state of Louisiana is our Never Forget Garden at Louisiana Veterans Memorial Park. The nationwide Never Forget Garden project is a major component of that national centennial commemoration. And we're so pleased to have our own beautiful garden where Louisiana's veterans will be forever honored and celebrated. Our team is a highly successful statewide alliance between organizations, citizens coming together to create something that others might enjoy. And I'll ask you to stand if your organization is mentioned here. Louisiana members of the American Rose Society, the Louisiana Society Daughters of the American Revolution, and the Louisiana Garden Club Federation, Incorporated. So here, these are just a few of the many who helped us raise the funds, purchase the plants and the signage. And finally, on the hottest day of July, 14 Rosarians planted roses, America's national floral emblem, and we like to report that nobody died. This garden is for all to enjoy, for rest, for inspiration, for remembering loved ones, and a place to find comfort. All of us express our sincere appreciation to the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs and the professionals at Capitol Buildings and Grounds for believing in the project and for helping us bring this inspirational Never Forget Garden in the beautiful Louisiana Veterans Memorial Park to life. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Holly Talley, and I serve as Louisiana's veterans through multiple programs at the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs. It's my honor to introduce my fellow Louisiana Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution member, State Regent Charlotte White. Ms. White became a member of the Oakley chapter of the Louisiana Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution in 1998. She has held many positions, including Chapter Regent, Chapter First Vice Regent, State Historian, State Treasurer, District Director, and State Chair of the DAR Good Citizen Program, and the President General's Project Sales. Ms. White is currently serving as the State Regent, Chapter Registrar, and American 250 Membership Task Force Volunteer. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Charlotte White.
is an honor and a privilege to be here today to bring greetings on behalf of the nearly 3,000 Louisiana daughters as we pay tribute to the Never Forget Garden and all that it represents. DAR is partnering with the Society of the Honor Guard of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier to observe its 100th anniversary of the dedication of the tomb. Daughters have paid respect to the tomb since its 1921 Armistice Day dedication. While laying a wreath at the U.S. Capitol, then President General Ann Miner said, quote, "We laid this wreath to consecrate ourselves to carry on the cause for which the unidentified soldier had so nobly given his life," end quote. Every year, for 101 consecutive years, we have returned to place a wreath at the tomb. The tomb of the unknown soldier is our nation's most sacred shrine. It honors all of those that gave so much. Today, we remember all those that sacrificed their lives and all of those that are known but to God. May we never forget. This grandmother is proud to share that her Marine grandson is off for his first deployment as of last week. Thank you to the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs and to the American Rose Society for the opportunity to join you in the creation of the garden, and not only represents the tomb of the unknown soldier, but is also a special place to honor and remember the millions of servicemen and women who have sacrificed their lives for our nation's freedom. Thank you for allowing the DAR to be a part of this special event.
Thank you so much. It's now, ladies and gentlemen, fellow veterans, my great honor to introduce a fellow veteran and the leader of our great state, Governor John Bel Edwards. Not yet, Governor. Got to talk about you a little bit. We love you. The son of a sheriff and charity hospital nurse, John Bel Edwards understood the importance of serving others from an early age. From his service as an active duty airborne ranger in the United States Army to his time in the Louisiana House of Representatives, Governor Edwards has always put people first. He was born the seventh out of 8 children to Sheriff Frank Jr. and Dora Jean Edwards. He grew up hunting and fishing in Amite, over close to where I live, a rural town in Tangipahoa Parish. He and First Lady Donna Edwards began dating while students at Amite High School. After graduating in the top of his class, Governor Edwards attended the United States Military Academy at West Point. As a cadet, he completed airborne school and he served as vice chairman of the panel. We put everybody to work. Thank you, Governor. As a cadet, he completed airborne school and served as vice chairman of the panel that enforces the West Point Honor Code. The governor graduated from West Point in 1988, commissioning as a second lieutenant in the United States Army. He served on active duty for 8 years, earning airborne, ranger, and jump master status. And for those of us who served in the Army for many years, those are tough achievements to earn. I can tell you, I was airborne, I know. Culminating with command of a rifle company in the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He and the First Lady married in 1989. They have 3 children, Samantha Bell, Sarah Ellen, and John Miller. After commanding a parachute infantry regiment in the 82nd Airborne, Governor Edwards retired from the Army with the rank of captain. He moved back home and he earned a law degree from LSU before opening a civil law practice in his hometown of Amite. In 2008, the people of House District 72 elected him to the House of Representatives, where he represented the people of Amite, Greensburg, Kentwood, and Hammond for 8 years before being elected governor in November of 2015. On January the 11th, 2016, John Bel Edwards was sworn in as the 56th governor of Louisiana. On November the 16th, 2019, the people of Louisiana re-elected Governor Edwards to another 4-year term. And on January the 13th, 2020, Governor Edwards was sworn in to his second term as the 56th governor of Louisiana. Governor Edwards continues to do what the people sent him to Baton Rouge to do, and that is to put Louisiana people first. Please join me in giving our governor and my boss a warm welcome as our keynote speaker, Governor John Bel Edwards.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. And don't worry, Rick O'Brien, I'm the keynote speaker. Keynote doesn't mean long, and my speech may be shorter than the introduction. Joey, I want to thank you for your leadership at the Department of Veterans Affairs and really all of the people who work in the agency. Your tireless efforts on behalf of veterans has just been tremendous. And I have seen it throughout the time that I've been in the legislature and as governor, but never more so in the last 2 years during the midst of this pandemic with multiple hurricanes and all of the things that you do around the state at our war veterans homes and you name it. I will tell you, these people really, really care. They are dedicated and they do an exceptional job. And I just want to thank you and everyone else at the Department of Veterans Affairs. I want to thank Ms. Charlotte and Ms. Marilyn for being with us today and the agencies that they represent. Mike, you did a wonderful job, and I want to thank you for your service on behalf of the state. Obviously, the national anthem was expertly performed by Deterius. I want to thank him. And the Liberty High School, Liberty Magnet High School, I should say, JROTC, appreciate them. Obviously, it was Grace and Molly who stole the show. I want to thank y'all for being here today. Look, Donna and I are so happy to be able to join you. And I think this is a special day. You know, in many parts of the world, if you have a big day with an announcement, if you're starting something, if you're celebrating something, and it rains on that day, that is a sign of God's blessing. And here we are with a Never Forget Garden where we've had the rain and then the sun came out. I think that is a double blessing. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to pronounce it. We're going to claim it and take it. Look, Don and I are so happy to be here with you today, and I do want to just share something with you real quick. I was in Scotland last week, and it was a great trip. The COVID there's a transmission a little higher than, and I spent 13 hours on 3 different planes, all of which were loaded on the way back. So I know there's no mask mandate in place. I'm the one who issues those orders, right? But I want to be extra careful for these few days until I know for a fact that I'm okay. And of course, I've passed 10 COVID tests here in the last few days, but I'm going to do one more before I take off my mask. I encourage everybody, and by the way, it isn't raining, and my notes say when it stops raining. It's already stopped. When you leave here today, please go and see the Never Forget Garden. And we wanted to be able to have this ceremony over there, but I actually checked with Joey. He assured me there was an inclement weather plan, and that's what we executed, and I think it's better safe than sorry. But the garden is a statewide volunteer project, obviously by the Louisiana members of the American Rose Society, the Louisiana Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and the Louisiana Garden Club Federation. They have put their heart and soul into making the garden a beautiful memorial to our nation's heroes. In addition to the garden, if you go over to the park, you're going to see other things that commemorate our veterans. For example, there is the Louisiana Gold Star Families Memorial that was dedicated in 2018. The Minutemen Monument dedicated to the fallen Louisiana National Guard was dedicated in 2019. And soon, through legislation that passed unanimously this past year, we will be erecting a monument dedicated to black soldiers who have fought and died in battle to preserve our freedoms. And as you've already heard, this particular Veterans Day is very significant because it marks the 100th anniversary of the dedication of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. In every Memorial Day, you will see our president at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier to pay respects, to honor what that represents. And if you've ever done it, you know that what I'm about to say is true. And if you haven't, please do it the next time you're able to get to the Washington, D.C. area. But visit the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Observe the changing of the guard. And note that it is the Army that's been commissioned to take care of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. I love Marines and Navy people. I just have to be a little bit partial to the Army. And you know, because of DNA analysis for identification purposes, there will probably never be another unknown soldier. But the remains in that tomb represent all soldiers, past and present, known and unknown, male and female, black and white. It doesn't matter. And not just soldiers, but airmen, sailors, you name it. That's the real gist of it. And it's my wish that when people visit the dedicated, never forgotten garden, that they will also feel an overwhelming sense of appreciation and respect for the supreme sacrifices of those who protect the soul of America. Of course, it's also my hope, and this is what we work so hard for at the Department of Veterans Affairs, that we will continue to work every single day, not just on Veterans Day, not just on Memorial Day, but every single day to honor our veterans. And as governor and as veteran myself, that is a promise that I work diligently to uphold. It's one that I take very seriously, and that is precisely why Joey Strickland is the secretary of our Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs. Because of the incredible work that they do, we are doing more than ever to identify and meet the needs of our veterans. I pray daily for the brave men and women in uniform, for their selfless devotion, and also to their families who too often sacrifice their absences on critical days, whether it's Christmas or birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, and sometimes they sacrifice because their loved one is never going to come home. And so I really appreciate the families as well. So with that, I'm going to conclude by just simply saying God bless you all. God bless our veterans, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Edwards, for your service and your leadership. At this time, I would like to call forward Governor Edwards, First Lady Donna Edwards, Secretary Strickland, Representative Johnson, Ms. Wellen, Ms. White, and Roxana Champagne to unveil the Never Forget Garden plaque. Go ahead and unveil.
If your eyes are like mine, you probably can't read this. I'm going to see if I can. It's the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, Never Forget Garden. This garden is a living tribute to all of America's veterans and their families. In silence and respect, this is a place to remember while millions of Americans have fought and died for our liberty and our freedom. Here we renew our promise to fulfill America's sacred duty to never forget. Here we renew our mutual pledge to support them with our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Thank you. You may be seated. Now we will have Ms. Welling come forward to make a special presentation to the First Lady.
You're not going to want me to hand this to you. I need some people to join me because of their great participation in this event. Mary Hazen, please. Charlotte, Fran Anderson, and Billy Flynn. Please come forward representing these organizations, and Charlotte White representing the Daughters of the American Revolution. This plaque represents the whole centennial celebration, especially to me and to the American Rose Society because of our role in helping to spread this news across the country. Never Forget Gardens are being installed everywhere, in every town, every cemetery, not every, in towns, in cemeteries, in parks, in individual gardens. And the reports back have just been beautiful. Photographs and stories of what this means to the people who install these gardens. I have one myself, and I love the garden here at the American Rose Center, where I put in the most time. We have a beautiful Never Forget Garden there. I hope some of you will consider a Never Forget Garden. I appreciate the governor's beautiful words when you describe the need and the meaning of a Never Forget Garden. Today, we have a gift for First Lady Donna Edwards. We'd like to present to you for the Governor's Mansion Rose Garden, and I've heard it's absolutely beautiful. I want to see it soon. But now we hope it will be a Never Forget Garden by the inclusion of this beautiful marker in your garden.
Thank you so much. I'll place it by a white rose bush.
Perfect.
Absolutely. And you will be invited. Thank you.
Shall I give it to
I'm
someone?
good. I'm good. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Welling, for that presentation. We are so grateful to have each and every veteran family member here today, and we honor you for your sacrifice and service. When you think about veterans, you know you are among a very special group of people. At one time there was a draft. Those veterans were special as well because they were told they were going. Once the draft was lifted, another set of special veterans came along because they volunteered to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. And to all the veterans here today, we give you a round of applause and thank you. As we conclude today's ceremony, we were supposed to do a ribbon cutting, but of course, Mother Nature said differently. However, since we're not able to be at the garden, we will unveil a picture of it. The garden, as a few people have already noted, is there in the Veterans Memorial Park, and we would ask, please, go take a look at it. Take pictures of it, enjoy it. As the governor said, the weather has cleared up, and it's cleared up for a reason. Take the walk down there, or you can drive down there, plenty of parking, and enjoy the Veterans Memorial Park for what it is, but also how it has been enhanced by the Rose Garden, Never Forget Garden that is there. Thank you so much, we truly appreciate it, and now we will call those who unveiled the plaque to please come up and unveil the picture. And after the unveiling of the picture, that will conclude our ceremony. A special thanks to Community Coffee for providing the coffee service today. And again, weather permitting, please feel free to go to the park to see the plaque and the garden before you leave downtown. Thank you again to everyone for being with us as we celebrate our veterans.